Okay, so welcome everybody welcome to June. I can't believe we're already in June. It's just wild. The year's going by so fast.
Yeah.
And we had a fun mini mastermind this past week for those who were not able to join us earlier in May. So I got to see a few of you, which was a lot of fun. And what I thought we could cover today was, first of all, one of the things I always hear from every person I come in contact with from our community at some point says to me that you want to make a bigger difference and you want to attract more clients and you want to make more money, right? So I just want to make sure that what we're all doing is in full alignment and in excellence with that. And one of the things that I really have found over the years that has been super helpful is something that I know we've all been working on, hopefully, which is what we nicknamed it the BPP, like OPP, but BPP, which is the big picture plan. The big picture plan. So that, the monthly big picture plan. So from show of hands, can you say if you have started your big picture plan? Okay. And has anyone not started on it? Okay, so everybody's at least started on it. So I would love to just hear from a couple of you really briefly, when you think about your focus for June, are you super clear? And if you are, what is it that you're working on for June, according to your BPP for June? Anyone? Don't be shy. This is your time. Kelly.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm finishing up beta testing my first signature program.
Okay.
And going on a vacation.
Oh, awesome. Where are you going to Hawaii?
Hawaii actually is next month, but yeah, going to Portland.
Okay, so. Awesome. Oh, not too far from me. Awesome. Okay, great. So how is your beta program going?
It's gone really well. I've been very pleased.
Okay, great. Awesome. So you feel clear about this month and you're feeling good about it?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, who else? Who is clear about their June plan and are you working it? Anyone? Now we're warming everybody up. So, okay, Angel Amy. Oh, can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Oh, all right, hold on. I'm going to see if I can hear you better.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
It's the Chromebook. Okay, so I am working on a brand new website in completely restructuring my pricing in my offerings.
Okay.
So I just gave them like an overhaul.
Okay.
So this is a really big shift for me moving forward. It's an ongoing project that's going to go beyond June.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Okay, but I have action steps for June.
Okay, so you're feeling good about your plan for June, and you're in alignment with it?
Yes, I feel really good about it.
Good, awesome. So there's specific things that you're committed to accomplishing by the end of June?
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
So number one is to have a format and a flow for the design of the website.
Okay.
Is one. Two is to have all my professional pictures taken.
Okay.
Three is to write all the content that is, and I know we're talking on Friday, but to have all the content written.
Mm-hmm.
That is the whole website.
Great.
So it's a big month.
Yeah, it is. That's exciting though. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure there's other things that I'm not thinking of, but yeah. So it's just
selling into your One Day in Heaven retreat, right? The 8 people.
Yes. Yep. I'm still working on that.
Okay. How are you feeling about that?
I feel like I need to move it to October.
Okay.
So I was going to talk about that with you on Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's just about, even when you create your big picture plan, it's also about tweaking it as you go. For the most part, I like to also make decisions on like the deadlines, and I like to stick with or the dates on things. I do my best to stick with them unless there's like a legitimate reason to shift something. So it's just about checking in with yourself. This is for all of you, is to always check in with yourself of what is my vision for the year and what is my vision for the month, and making sure that what I'm doing on a daily basis and how I'm showing up and who I'm being on a daily basis is in alignment with that desired result that I have declared, So, so Amy, I know that you have other things also on your plate, so it might make sense to shift that. And then what I would say is, if you do shift it, then let's pick a date and then stick with it if it's in October,
Okay. Yeah, it just, perfect. So I'll come up with a date. Just energetically, it doesn't feel in alignment with right now.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah. So, okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. Who else would like to share what your big picture plan is for the month? Go ahead, Gustavo. Hey.
Okay, I was unmuting myself. Hello, hey Amy.
Hey.
Hi. All right. I'm shooting for $10,000 in revenue.
Okay.
The strategy is I'm pursuing a GoFundMe page, which is almost done. So I'm gonna be sharing that with the community, and the goal is $20,000 and hoping to get 10. So it's shooting for 20, hoping to get 10. In that package, in that page, I'm offering my services. So I'm offering 3 options: a one-time session to get people in the door, a 3-month program, and a 6-month program.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm structuring at the moment. It's gonna be tweaking and readjusting as we go, as I get feedback and I look into what's gonna serve the most to get that outcome. So I'm still in the exploration of how that can happen. And then I'm looking at through the strategy of getting clients, the 3 different ways of getting clients. I'm still working on that. So that's my focus for the month. Yeah. And then looking at going through at least 20 calls, and some of them by just being people that are ready pretty much to sign up. Yeah. And to top it up, I basically could say that I have a client in the door, 95% fully enrolled for 6 months. So that's a breakthrough. I don't have the deposit yet. Okay. And that was because of the re-enrollment conversation. He was ready to give money at that moment, and I wasn't able to, just the timing and all that. But it looks like I'll have a client signed up for a 6-month program pretty soon. So crossing my fingers on that.
That's awesome. So what's your next step with that person?
Follow up tomorrow. Just,
okay.
he was there. He was ready to pay credit card for a deposit. And I should have asked like you did and say, hey, why don't I write down your credit card information? I let it go. But it was a very empowering conversation where I felt that there was a breakthrough. And basically, I don't know how to approach it. Basically, I will need some coaching around that. Basically, yeah, some tips around that to how to follow up with him. Because he hasn't come through yet, but basically he was going to give a deposit and he didn't. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I can do a little bit of coaching on that today once we kind of go around.
Yeah, cool.
And one thing that I'll just say while I'm thinking about it is, for everybody's sake, is always have the next step. So for example, if you're going to follow up with, it's okay. We all get to learn and grow, right? It's all good. Always have the next step. So if somebody does not have a full enrollment right then and there, then plan the next step. So if you know that they are your ideal client, you can help them, then just say, well, hey, so-and-so, why don't we do that and lead it, right? Don't say, oh, let's see if we can follow up in a week. Just say, hey, how about this? Why don't we, let's schedule our next conversation, because I know that we can go on in our lives and have, I hate to use the word busy, right? But it's like, we can go on in our busy lives and then not circle back around for another month, and then we won't be really consistent with picking up where we left off. So, and then lead it. Just say, what does your schedule look like on, Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific? So that way you're not just saying, oh, when are you free? You're actually leading it with some times. And then you're looking it on your calendar.
Yeah.
And cool. If you want to take it even to the next level, is to send an email and say, thank you so much. It was so great chatting with you. And then using what we call a stick strategy. So they stick with you,
Yeah.
So whether it's a quote, you send them a quote or a link to a video, or sometimes I've even had clients actually cut a personal video and put it in the email. So you can even do that and send a personalized video to say, hey, as I was thinking, it was so great chatting with you today. One of the things you shared that really I thought was great was this. And I just know, sometimes people just need to know that you believe in them. Sometimes people just need to know that like what you see possible for them, and that they don't always see it possible for themselves. So it's about them believing in your belief in them until they can believe it for themselves.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
You can do things like that. And then, yeah, the blessing is in the lesson, right? Always be prepared to accept payment when they're at that place. So,
yeah.
Gustavo and others, do you have a payment processing?
I do PayPal, and what I did is I send them a link, and 2 hours later, and I said I was going to do it 30 minutes after, so it was a timing thing, and I had to run out of the door, and so I should have just taken his info right away, and I just sent him the link 2 hours later, and have not heard back from him at this point.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm hoping so.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. The other thing too is when I first started to collect payments, I used Square. Like before I had fancier systems online. So you can get a Square account too, and then take payment and run it manually that way.
Okay.
That makes sense. Like, so even though there's like the actual Square thing that you can attach to your phone, if you're not with them in person, then you can manually enter it in. Now I think that they charge a little bit higher if you manually enter it in, unless that's changed over the years.
Okay.
But at least it's a starting point, right, of being able to collect payment on the spot.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So we can also talk about follow-up in a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to keep moving forward, Gustavo, but thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Holly just chatted and says Moon Clerk is great too. So you can jot that down as well. Okay. Who else would like to share their BPP for June? And if you're in alignment around it, just so I can get a sense of where everybody is. And hopefully you're very clear. And if you're not clear, we can help you get clear about what to focus on this month.
I'll go.
Hey, Jess.
Hey. So I actually feel unclear because I got some coaching and feedback from my current clients. And so I'm shifting directions a little bit. So I just created a new package.
Okay.
And so I'm clear that I want to fill the slots for that package.
Okay.
Which I have half full. I want to have 6, so I have 3.
Okay.
For a done for you Instagram service.
Okay.
But I'm being really selective on who I'm taking due to a lot of things that go into it, because you have to be really, really clear in your messaging before anyone could take over your stuff for you.
Yeah.
So I have that, and then I'm also trying to figure out a better system, I guess, for my other options for people. And I want to be more accessible for brick and mortars and stuff who have lower budgets.
Okay.
So I'm working I have all these ideas that I'm working on, and I'm putting them into the doc while also being realistic with how many different things I want to be offering. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. So, okay. So this new package, your goal is 3 more. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. And I've gotten a lot of people wanting it, but I won't take everyone because in order to be really successful with it, you have to be at a certain point in your business to be able to hand off your messaging to somebody else.
I got you. Okay. So what would it look like if you just focused on that to enroll these last 3 spots?
It would look great.
What if you just did that for now?
Okay, I can do that.
Because I find that you and I are very similar. If it were left to us, we would just juggle a million things, right?
Yeah, that's
and
so
then
true.
feel the O word, right? Overwhelmed, just versus just saying, okay, I have these other ideas, and it doesn't mean that I don't ever get to do them. But what if I just gave myself permission to focus on this one thing and be in excellence with it and be in completion, and then move on to the other instead of trying to be everything to everyone?
Okay.
Yeah. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Simplify your life.
Yay. So
Yeah.
Now I'm clear.
Good. See, sometimes it's as simple as that. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Who else wants to share their June focus, their June BPP? Is that Isabel?
I'll go with Isabel.
Hey.
So, hi. So,
Uh-oh. You're cutting out.
program was doing. Oh, I am?
Yeah.
So am I still cutting out?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know what? Go to somebody else. Let me change spots, okay?
Okay. Sounds good. We'll come back to you. Okay. Who else would like to share? June Focus, June BPP. Tracy? What about you? Oh, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself?
There we go. So mine is basically focusing on what Jess was talking about, my clarity and my message,
Okay.
and also doing an upscale with my website
Okay.
and getting all of the copy written for that. So that's what June is all about.
Okay, awesome. Are you also bringing on clients this month, or what is your focus around that?
I would like to do one this month, but I don't know. I guess that's maybe where I am unclear, is the focus for all the clarity in my messaging and the website is so that it has more of a direct message as to what I want them to do. So
Okay.
I kind of feel, because I don't know, I'm at the point where I feel like with the referrals that I get, I do really well with. And now I'm at that point where I need to like advance on and get more clients from like a cold perspective.
Okay.
And doing it that way. I just, the end of May, started doing what you had recommended in your marketing boot camp with like reaching out to people on Messenger and stuff like that. I have to admit, I'm not the most comfortable with that, but it is not as scary as I thought it was in the beginning.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
So I'm kind of at that point where, okay, let's, you know, get that momentum started, where let's get that win there. And then we can work on focusing on that a little bit more. But right now it would be nice to have one more, just one this month.
Yeah. So do you have any leads for that, or any referrals that you can follow up with, or where are you with that?
Well, like I said, I think that's where, because I don't really have any referrals right now. I do and I don't. I'd have to spend more time warming them up. But I'm kind of at that point where I think, well, let's try working that aspect with the messenger and see where that leads us, and see if we get some confidence on that.
You can definitely do that. So one thing I want to share with the whole group here is that remember that you're part of an incredible community and you can help each other out. So even when Tracy and I first connected, you know, we were talking about the mastermind and we were talking about what she was doing. And I just focused on, you know, as usual, like I love focusing on generosity. And I did a post about her on my personal Facebook page. And I just said, hey, to all my entrepreneurial peeps, you know, connected with my friend Tracy Medeiros. She's over in Hawaii and she offers this amazing online business management and assistant work, you know, for those of you who have too much on your plate. So if you're looking for a great team member to add on, then I highly recommend her. You can connect with her here. And as a result of that one post, there was a bunch of people that commented on it, people that connected with her, and she got a client from it, if not at least one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
My point is, this is where all of you can totally play team and play community and help each other out. So if any of you, and this is where like one of the biggest differences, like one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had in me being in my own community is when I started to not just focus on what I was getting and what I was receiving as a client, but also focusing on what I could contribute to the community. And that the combination of making sure that I'm opening to receive and in contribution, it just gave me these massive breakthroughs in my mindset, in my business, and facing my time scarcity rackets that come up for me in my head that are just a story. So my point is, when you look up and look around you, no matter where you are in your journey, and you help each other out, then that's when the breakthroughs happen. So what I would love to see happen is when somebody like Tracy's like, yeah, I'm just looking for one more person. Of course, I love to empower Tracy to stand in responsibility and do her own outreach as well. And for others in the group to say, you know, to automatically like raise their hand to say, hey, you know what? I could do a Facebook Live with you, Tracy. And we could talk about the importance of creating system. Like Tracy's all about systems. And if you do not know how systems can help you in your business, let me tell you what, systems have made the biggest difference for me in the last couple of years. With everything, we create a system. So the next time it comes up, it's like, oh yeah, well, we've got an SOP, a standard operating procedure on that system. And so whether or not you've implemented those or not, like it's all good. Like for the longest time, I did not have systems set up. And Tracy's the type of person that helps people with that. So if you are someone who is connected to other entrepreneurs that could use that, then why would you not want to make a bigger difference in the world and have her jump on a Facebook Live with you or do a post and say, hey, and get to know Tracy and her get to know you so you can help each other out. Does that make sense? Like my vision for all of you to have massive breakthroughs as a part of Powerhouse Mastermind is to deeply connect with one another and help each other out all the time. And just like look up and look around you and see where someone needs help. And if in your heart of hearts you believe you can help them, then reach out to them and say, hey, Tracy, you know what? I actually have a lot of people that follow me online or I'm connected. And I would be willing to bet that even if I did one post, it would help you connect with some more people. And then Tracy could turn around and say, you know, hey, Jess, I know a lot of people that could use help in their Instagram. And, you know, maybe I should do a post about you or have you jump on Facebook Live, or maybe we could do a joint webinar at some point and see how we can help each other out. You know what I mean? And just look for those opportunities to really help each other and watch what happens as a community. Like watch what happens. It's so much more efficient. It's more fun. You actually see how you can make a bigger difference even within this container, which is also a reflection of how you are outside of this container. You see the beauty in that? So yeah, something always fun, yeah, grateful for this community. Oh, level of chat. Yeah. So let's do a little quick test. So who in this group, and that's just all transparency. So, you know, just be within integrity. Who in this group would be willing to help Tracy by doing a post on your Facebook or on Instagram or provide a referral? Okay, Kelly, awesome. Jess also. Okay, awesome. Angel Amy. So Tracy, I'm inviting you and empowering you to stand in responsibility, reach out to Kelly, Jess, and Angel Amy, and have something happen within the next, like at least by the end of this week, like by Friday, if not within the next 48 hours, so that we stay in excellence and like, you know, create some urgency around it. Because imagine how you would feel if by being a part of this community and by showing up and by allowing yourself to receive, by the end of this week, you had either a new client in completion enrollment, or you had 5 new leads to follow up with that are warm from this community. It'd be pretty awesome, right? I think she froze. She's nodding. Oh, she's smiling. Okay, good. Okay, so does it sound good? And the same goes for others. So if Jess is looking for 3 more clients to serve when it comes to Instagram, you know, like let's get you those clients. Is it specific to Instagram? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So Jess, I'd be happy to do a post about you, you know, so I'm just gonna write that down myself.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else have, on that note, does anyone else have an ask or a need that, that somebody in this group may be able to help you with? Sherelle.
I would love to hear like other people's stories, success stories and things of that nature in creating their business. I don't know, like if they could post it, or even if I could just connect with others to see like how they formed their journey. I'm coming up at a standstill, and I would just love to just know that I'm not the only one who experienced something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what step are you in right now, Sherelle?
So I had my BPP for May and June, but so much happened in May that I didn't accomplish everything that I desired to. And now it's like the mindset of like the worthiness is coming back up again. And can I really do this, and still being distracted with other things?
Okay, what are you being distracted by?
So I got a heavier workload with my corporate job, and the day before that, I received a promotion with as a love coach, which meant a heavier load as well. So those were 2 other things that came in that were unexpected, and it's kind of like taking precedence over me doing my business.
Okay, so what I would say to that is, you know, it's about just really aligning with your vision. And so if there's things that you need to tweak in your vision, then do that. And just know that this is all a part of the journey, right? So I believe that the entrepreneurial journey is also a personal development journey and making decisions, right? So for example, Sherelle, like one thing that made a big difference for me is like, instead of saying like this happened and that happened, like I created this, I created that, right? I created the opportunity to be promoted as a love coach for this other company, or I created this opportunity to take on more responsibility. That way you're standing in your power and making sure that the decisions that you're making are in alignment with your bigger vision.
Okay.
And sometimes temporarily, like when I was in my first year or so of business, temporarily I would take on things to fill the gap financially while I was growing. So because in that time frame I couldn't see past that in my head, you know? So I was like, okay, well, at least I'm getting these awesome opportunities for income in the meantime, and I still have a vision of having my own business, you know, and doing everything on my own. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And then I personally bring it back. I know some background noise. I personally bring it back to create, connect, offer always. Like my system of create your signature offering. If you got background noise, go ahead and mute yourself. Or is that Sherelle? Do you have background noise? I feel like I keep hearing like somebody typing or something.
I think it's the phone number that called in.
Okay. Oh, it might be Isabel trying to call in. Okay. Okay, so Sherelle, go ahead and unmute yourself. So I bring everything back to create, connect, offer. Create, connect, offer, because it's easy to get distracted by shiny object syndrome or other things that can take precedence. And when it comes back to it, like when it comes down to it, then I believe that when you have created your premium offering and you are connecting with your ideal clients, both online and in person, and you're making offers, then you should be able to start really building up that foundation of your business, even if it's part-time initially.
Okay.
And keeping it super simple. And if you're taking the action steps and still stuck, the first thing you'll hear from me is, great job on taking action steps, because now we have information to work with to find out where it is that you're getting stuck. You know, instead of saying, well, I plan to do some things and then I didn't do it. Then it's like, okay, well then get back up and plan to do them again. This time do it, you know, and be kind to yourself, because your worthiness is intact no matter what. Okay. Your worthiness is intact no matter what. I certainly have set goals and not achieved them, or I've made plans and have not followed through. And I used to attach my worthiness to the result until I learned that my worthiness is attached whether or not I achieve the result. I still set goals. I just am like, okay, so what worked for me and what didn't work for me? And am I going to stop here, or I'm going to get back up and do it again and learn from it and make things happen and reach out for support around me too? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I think Jess was saying that she'd be happy to chat with you too. Sometimes it's nice to talk to, of course, others in the group that can relate. And what I invite all of you to do is to, when you connect with people in the group, make sure, like I invite you to be one, the one who's like standing for the vision, not standing for any like playing small. You know what I mean? So sometimes what can happen when people get together, if they're frustrated, is that I'm frustrated too. This is happening. And instead of it being somewhere where we lift each other up, we can bring each other down. I don't know about any of you, but I've certainly been around people who are just like, they just want to complain about things. Not that I think of anyone in this group as a complainer. It's just sometimes I've been around people like that. And then I'm like, okay, this isn't really helping me break through. Break through. I mean, I feel heard, and I feel like, okay, some of the things that they might be frustrated with, I can relate to. And my commitment is my vision and my purpose and my message and my mission. So why would I not also connect with people who I know can help me break through? So as we start to continue to grow as a community, I'm going to be counting on each of you as the core part of this community to be the light workers, to be there was a speaker we met last year that said the lifters, where you lift people up. You lift people up, okay? So that's all I ask is when you do connect with each other, make the decision that you get to be like a leader in this community and that you get to lift people up, while still being true about like, okay, this is where I am right now, and I know that I can have a breakthrough. I am open and coachable. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's just a powerful way of being. Yes, Jess says, breakthrough together, no playing small. Yeah. Isabel would be happy to connect with you too. So the beautiful thing, Sherelle, is like this community loves you, and like our team always talks about you. And so just know that you've got so much support around you that believes in you, and you get to have your breakthroughs too. Okay. Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Who else would like to share about your June? I think Isabel, you're back on. Looks like you're moving and not frozen now, so it's good.
Sorry, that wasn't me clicking. I know I left the group and everything, so it wasn't me clicking. All right, so I think we had a breakthrough this weekend. You know, we came up with a new name for my program or new messaging, and it was going to be Cravings. So I'm still sitting with it, and before I got there, I wrote a whole program out of like what my techniques were and everything of what I would be doing. So I'm right now integrating all of that into this other twist that we came up with.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come up with my 1, 2, 3. You know, like crave. What it was, I can't remember what it was. Anyways, the 3 things that you have for your messaging. And then all of a sudden I came up with this whole other idea, and I just heard you tell, I can't remember who the first person was, that you said, just let's focus on one thing.
Yes.
Because this is what I do. I come up with something and I'm like, well, this would be better for me. So I just need to toss it around because this other thing feels more my style.
Okay.
And it kind of showed up this weekend also. So I get to get clear on that and write my program and then redesign the dates that I already have done. And my website, pretty much, I can get it updated. I plan to do that within the next 10 days.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
And then keep going with my program. And then I haven't really been discussing it with anybody because I'm unclear on my messaging.
Yeah, so I can definitely continue to help you on that. So a couple things. One, before I forget, of course, you can all book calls as a lot of you have been with the coaches on our team. And the other thing too is that my big request is that when you book calls with the coaches, that you're in a place, like a quiet place where you can take notes. So remember, it's like what you get out of this is what you put into it. And I'm just a big believer that if you're either driving or in a space where you have distractions or you can't take notes, then you're not going to get as much out of the coaching calls than if you're in a place where you can do these things. So that's my big ask. I know sometimes it can be like, oh, I got to multitask. And I just out of the respect for the coaches and yourself and your vision, like really commit to that. You know what I mean? So I just want to mention that as a side note. And then for Isabel, okay, so why don't I would love for you to share. So Isabel was one of the people that came to our mini mastermind on Friday and Saturday. It's so great to have her out here in Kirkland, Washington, coming from the East Coast. So Isabel, will you just briefly share what you started off with as your message and what your breakthrough was?
All right. So my original plan was to do a weight release program. And I had a problem with that because, I didn't release my weight. So I wasn't going to be able to move forward with that in integrity. So one of the techniques I did in front of everybody was a craving, kind of shift cravings for people and how I get into the source of the craving. So I didn't call it a craving. We called it something else, but Amy came up with that word and it kind of felt right when we were discussing it. And then craving, of course, has nothing to do with weight, but it really has everything to do with the weight without using that word. So I just need to get a little clearer on that and how that would play out. And I still can do the same techniques that I've done and have the same results, but I don't need to use that word.
Yeah. So to add on to what Isabel's sharing is that we went through the PSR exercise. You guys remember that, where you share a story in the framework of problem, solution, result. Here was my problem, or here was my client's problem. Here was the solution that I created or what the steps that I took, or here's the steps that I had my client take, and here was the result, right? So when you can really become masterful at your storytelling in this PSR framework, then it will make a big difference for you in your enrollment conversations, in your content creation, in all of it. And so what happened was I had each of our attendees write down like an idea of a PSR story, and I had each of them get up in front of the small group to share it. And, you know, Isabel's always talked about like spiritual weight release or weight release, weight loss. And when she shared this story, which was her own story, she never mentioned weight loss as the problem or the solution. And I found that really fascinating. And so I reflected back to her, what I heard you talk about was this, she called it a food addiction or a food craving around chocolate, and how like, and she talked about like at one point in the messaging part of it, she was talking about how we consume that which we are missing in our life. So instead of creating sweetness in her life or in one's life, they're eating the sweetness, like consuming it to fulfill it, you know, like, so there's some really profound messages in her messaging and her storytelling. But what I reflected back to her was like, wow, I didn't hear you talk about weight loss once. What I did hear that was really powerful is that you overcame your own cravings and food addictions around chocolate, which I can relate to. I feel like I have a slight addiction to chocolate, you know, and what she did, what was her process to be able to release that and to overcome it, and how that has made a difference for her and her health and well-being, and also not having this codependency, right? So I'm like, maybe your messaging isn't at all around weight loss. Maybe it's around food addictions and cravings, you know? So anyways, really powerful. So to bring it back to your question around your messaging, I do agree that the same techniques will be applicable and relevant. And you can speak into the food cravings and how that still is related to the emotional connection, and how, so what I would do, Isabel, is I would practice more of the storytelling piece of it. So sometimes the messaging comes from doing more PSR storytelling. Like, so all of you can do this if you're wanting to strengthen your messaging, is to write out stories or type out stories that are the PS and R, the problem, solution, and result, and start to notice what is the message that's coming through in your storytelling. What is the message that's coming through? What was the problem? What were the core elements or the steps in the solution? And what was the powerful result from taking these steps, or by implementing or showing up as this new being in the solution piece? And when you do that, I mean, you'll start, like, even if you decide to write down 5 different stories, it's really amazing when you start to see that golden thread. So I can look back at many stories in my journey where I was unclear about my message, my own message. You know, when I first started, I had all these different offerings, all these different price points, and I wasn't really making very much money, and I was stressed out all the time. And even though I was doing a lot of cool things and I was passionate about all the things I was doing, it wasn't really achieving what I wanted to achieve as an entrepreneur. So I took a step back and I got clear with my signature premium offering. I deeply connected with my ideal clients, both online and in person, and I started to make offers. And as a result of that, not only did I create a new formula called Create, Connect, Offer, which I didn't realize I was doing in the midst of it, I also was able to bring on premium, high-paying, initially private coaching clients, and then I was able to develop a group coaching program, which has led to me building a multiple 6-figure and moving towards a 7-figure coaching business. You know, so it has that problem, solution, and result. And when you do that, I could do this with many stories, and I would clearly see how, like, why I do what I do, what my process is, and the results that I can create. And I can even share it as you grow. As each of you grow in your businesses, you'll be able to share PSR stories from your clients who end up becoming testimonials. So when you have, and some of you already have some of this in your own businesses, you can think about the clients that you've already helped. So you can say, when so-and-so first came to me, she or he was here, right, in this problematic area, or this space in their life where they were not fulfilled, or where they didn't feel spiritually connected, or whatever their situation was. And I know at the May Mastermind, I know sometimes, Gustavo, we talked about the word problem. It doesn't always have to be a problem, right? It can be, this is where they were in life. This is where they were, and this is where they wanted to be. They wanted to be awakened, or they wanted to connect in with their soul, or they wanted to, you know, Angel Amy, they wanted to connect in with their spirit guides, their angels, you know, whatever the result, the desired result is. So how did you get them from here to here? How did you help them to do that? And as you do these stories, when you write them down, I mean, the reason why I believe so much in this is that by doing storytelling, it has totally taken my business and so many of my clients' businesses to the next level, and gaining clarity on their messaging and gaining clarity on how they truly help people. And then you can even go further back in your life and notice. So Michelle, who's not on with us live right now, she shared with me a story. So she came to our mini mastermind, and she's been talking about launching her love coaching business. And she's had success in the real estate world. She's done other things in her past career. And she's got a savviness about her when it comes to business and all that. And she's been in some transition in her life. What was fascinating is that she was talking about launching a love coaching business. And what we ended up realizing was that what she really loves doing is creating space. Meaning, like, and she's helped me with organizing, you know, this big, like, organizing project in my home. And by creating space, so by decluttering, by creating space in your home and redesigning your space externally, it's like you're redefining your life internally, which opens up space for abundance and love. So even though it still has that result of love, she's all about creating space. And so she shared the story with me recently. She's like, oh my gosh, Amy, ever since the mini mastermind, I was thinking about when I was a little girl. This is such a sweet story. She would wait until her parents would fall asleep. She would pretend she was asleep. She'd wait until her parents fell asleep, and then she would clean the entire house so that she could see their faces when they woke up to a beautifully clean home that had space. Like, I get chills thinking about that. She can share stories, as many of you can, if not all of you can, about something even in your childhood that relates to what you do now. And I guarantee that if we worked out that story a little bit more, probably even then she decluttered, created space, and redesigned, or she loves rearranging furniture so that it could be this oasis to welcome in so much goodness. So you can look at the stories of your life and see the congruencies to what you do now. Is anyone seeing that already by hearing me talk about this? Who's seeing that? Jess, Gustavo, Angel Amy, Tracy. Jess, can you share with us, like, what story, like, just briefly, right? Let's be succinct. Problem, solution, result. Can you share one?
Yeah. So so one in particular client of mine came to me. She's a doctor and a spiritual healer, and she came to me, like, she channels, right? So she's all over the place. And her content was not, like, that doesn't really work with producing content. You need to be laser clear, and, like, people need to understand you. So when she came to me, that was the problem. We started to dive deeper and do, like, messaging sessions. And what I realized is that, like, my formula, my Facebook Live formula and all of that didn't really work for her. So we found a solution that was creative and still people understood it, where she actually now does full moon, new moon tarot card readings, where she gets on and she actually, like, with her partner and their team, films it. So she's hands-free with the live, and she's been killing it. Like, she went from having 4 people watching every week to now she has, like, upwards of 20 every single week who are on there. So it's still, like, she gets to channel and be in her experience, but it's very specific, like new moon reading. So now she's got that going on. So that was, like, an awesome win for her.
Yeah, that's super powerful.
Example?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great example. The one, okay, 2 things. So thank you for being the guinea pig and sharing this. One is that when you're doing the PSR storytelling, to keep everything in the past tense, right?
Okay.
So at one point you said, because you need to do this and this, it's easy to go into coaching, right? Like, what people need to do. So here's where she was. Here's what I had her do, and here was the result. So keeping the storytelling in the past tense so that it's like a testimonial of something that already happened, whether it's for you or someone else, will make it more powerful, okay? The other piece of it too is, as all of you are fleshing out your PSRs, is to write down the story or type it out, and then highlight the sentences that are relevant to the recipient of the story, whether you're speaking it out or typing it out in the email or about to talk about it on Facebook Live, and take out anything that's not relevant. So for example, I don't need to know that the Facebook something or other campaign didn't work for her. Like you determine that that's part of the bigger picture of the story. What I want to know is, what did you do to get her where she wanted to go?
Okay.
Yeah. So you see what I'm saying?
Totally.
So focus on the points that are relevant, and that way it can also condense things. So whether you're writing an email or posting a Facebook Live or what have you, you can end up having something that would have been extremely long and really condensing it so it's punctual, and you keep the engagement from the audience. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, but it was really good though. I mean, like, she came to me when, here's what we, here was her problem, here's what we did. Now, and what we did with the mini mastermind is to take that storytelling to even one deeper level, is to insert the deep connection statement at the, in the problem, the end of the problem segment of the PSR. So what that looks like is, that's the one time that something is in the present tense format. So you can say, yeah, in fact, I'll never forget the moment when she came to me and said, whenever I post on Instagram, I just don't know how to, something that's real for her. Like, what would be something that would be vulnerable from her standpoint?
So I guess I'm confused because this is about Facebook Live specifically?
Facebook Lives, yeah, sorry. Facebook Lives.
So something vulnerable that she said to me?
Or something that she may have thought or shared with you, like a vulnerable thing that she was feeling in her frustration. What would that be?
That she just, no matter what, couldn't get people on and stay on the live, no matter what.
People have that problem, right? Like a lot of people, right? So in the problem part of the PSR, you can take it to a point and say, in fact, I remember her saying to me, and then that's the one part you would say present, because then it'll open up a channel with the person you're talking to. In fact, I remember her saying to me, I just feel like I do these Facebook Lives and I can't get anyone on, or if I do, they don't stay. Right? That's a deep connection statement that the person who's feeling that pain point will read it or hear it and be like, oh my gosh, that's me. And then they will be captivated for the rest of the story, or the enrollment conversation, or the talk from a stage, or from a Facebook Live. So this is all like stuff that you can repurpose from every communication platform. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And this can help you. So Isabel, it can help you with your messaging, like all of you. When you do your PSRs, it can really make a massive difference for you in your messaging and how you show up on these different platforms, or even in your one-on-one enrollment conversations. Okay? Awesome. Does anyone else want to share what their the BPP, what your big picture plan is for the month of June? I feel like we've got a quiet energy today. Anyone? I see Sonia and Kate and Barbara and Olivia. I'm not sure if you're able to talk. I'd love to hear from you, ladies. No? Okay. Well, we have about 10 minutes left for this call, so I'm going to go ahead and just open it up for Q&A. I know, Gustavo, we wanted to talk about following up, correct? Okay, could you unmute? Why don't we do that? And then if anyone else has a specific question. So today, I just really wanted to focus on your big picture plan for this month. Also, I would love for each of you to post in the Facebook group what your focus is for this month, so that as a community, we can hold you high. And that you can also connect in with one another. Like we said, how people are gonna help Tracy and Jess, like feel free to do an ask and make some noise even within our community. When you need help, don't stay stuck and don't stay like all alone in your stuckness, right? It's no fun. So let us help you while still standing in your power, right? So you still get to take responsibility and not get codependent. There's a fine line. Okay, so Kate Robbins is not feeling very well. Kate, I hope you feel better soon. Okay, good. Glad you're able to still take notes. Okay, so Gustavo, you had a question about follow-up.
Yeah, so just giving you thought with what you spoke to Jessica. My connection to this client that it's about to sign up has to do with the fact that I shared my story on a workshop last December.
Okay.
And he connected with me in the space that he identified himself as an empath.
Okay.
And that's been my life story of how I gone through my awakening process, and now I could basically help people dissolve patterns and all of that I share with you and the others, and how I touch people's souls and all of that, right? So in essence, he was drawn to me, and he said in our enrollment conversation if I could help him, because he really resonated with my story when I share my story on December. But so we got to the point where he was going to sign up. Going back to the point of signing up, he was ready to make a deposit, and I said, great, I'll send you my PayPal link in 30 minutes. And I wasn't able to do that because of the timing and everything. I ran out of time, and that's it. So basically I left it at that. It's been 3 days now, and basically I feel like I'm ready to engage again with them.
And you haven't heard anything from him since then?
Nothing from him yet, no.
Okay. So what I would start off with is just re-engaging and just sending him a message. So either email, do you text with him ever or no? Messenger or email. Okay,
Messenger,
so
email.
Like, well, I used to be more like formal and would use email for everything. If I feel like I can connect with someone and be more efficient with texting or Facebook Messenger, I just do it, you know?
Okay.
And hopefully if they don't like that, they can speak up. But if I've built a deep connection with them, I find that people are okay with it, as long as it's not like in the middle of the night or something, you know? So I'd be mindful of the time zone. And then I would send, so in this case, you could, if you already have been communicating via Messenger, then go ahead and use that. If you know there's someone who's active on Messenger.
Okay.
And just send a quick message, and don't overthink it, right? So you could just say, okay, so like, and don't make it a big deal either that you didn't send it right away. Like it's okay, you know, like just take the pressure off and just say, so if it were me, just say, hey, it was so great chatting with you, you know, last week or whenever it was, like last Friday or whenever it was. And, you know, I especially love talking to you about this, like, so you could reconnect with something that you talked about. And I just want to make sure that you received the PayPal link, because I'd love to get started with you. I'd love to start helping you with A, B, and C, you know? So
okay.
focusing on the vision, like your vision together is to work together, right? So that's
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
sometimes, at least my experience of myself and others, is that if somebody doesn't follow through with the payment, then sometimes I'll just admit, like sometimes I'll make it about me for a moment. I'm like, oh no, maybe it wasn't as good of a call as I thought it was. Or they said yes, but now they're a no. Like, don't assume that. And even if sometimes it does happen where they say yes and then they are a no, right? They're like, oh man, I'm totally excited. And either they go MIA, and usually people get quiet when they're in their stuff or in fear.
Yeah.
Right? Or life comes up and they got busy and they just haven't gotten back to you, or the email got lost in cyberspace. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why someone doesn't get back, you know?
Okay.
And sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the reminder. I know I saw it, or I was looking for it and I didn't see it. Can you resend it? So don't assume anything is my point, okay? And nothing is personal, so don't take anything personally ever, right? So just say, hey, so you're like, or if you want to acknowledge that you didn't send it right within 30 minutes, you can do that too. Just whatever feels right in your heart. At this point, I don't think it's as relevant. So you can just say, hey, so-and-so, it's great talking to you a few days ago, and really excited. So you can also assume the close, right? Assume the enrollment. I'm really excited to get started with you. The one piece to complete your enrollment is the payment piece. So I just want to make sure, did you get the PayPal link that I sent you that day?
Yeah, okay.
Wait for their answer, you know?
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, things do come up, and I'm always in the deeper layers because that's where I want to reside. Is my brilliance, my genius, right? And I really am learning how to be more practical and simple and detail. And I rather I'm looking in my own vision. I'm looking at actually hiring someone to do some of these basic things because that's not where my mind is all the time. So, but yeah, I get it. It's needed right now, so I get to use that for now. Yeah, just while I gain some strength in getting clients. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have a question that I can help you with in your own business? Barbara says, okay, I'm reading your chat. I was late to the call and I'm not ready to speak up. I do not have a clear BPP. it's BPP, but anyway, big picture plan. I will call for coaching. I feel like I didn't do my homework. I have a gap to seeing what I want. I need to call for coaching. Yeah. So Barbara, do you not want to, you don't have to speak if you don't want, but Anne.
Oh, I have my microphone on now.
Good.
I'm getting over myself.
Oh, lovely. I love when I get over myself too. So it's all good. There's no remember that for all of you, just know that there's no judgment, you know? So I'll be the first to admit that I used to never call for coaching or book a coaching call when I was stuck because I was embarrassed, until I realized that about myself and how I would never want any of my clients to hide when they're suffering, you know? So, so Barbara, how can I best help you today?
Phew. You know, I'm not even sure. I'm usually sure of what I want, don't want, and what I need help with. And the last week, I am just not sure. I meditate usually for 5 or 10 minutes every morning. I've been off track on that, and when I try to get into it again, like this morning, I tried to do 5 minutes like 4 times just to get to a peaceful place. Unable to do that. And so I don't really even know what's going on with me.
Okay.
I just physically, I do know that I have some heavy metals that I'm detoxing, but I don't know. I don't think it's that. I'm just unfocused and unsettled a little bit. So
okay.
I feel like it's not totally lost, but I will call for coaching, and maybe one-on-one coaching. I can become focused on something.
Okay. Yeah. And you know,
I kind of feel like the water is coming out of the bathtub and I'm not done with my bath yet. Okay. And I have no control over it.
Yeah. So, you know, I was just talking to some people on my team today that, you know, it's kind of, you know, we all go through life, and we, you know, like I have my moments too. And whenever I have a day or a moment or a week where I just don't feel on my A game, then I used to be in self beat up around it, and now I am loving to myself around it, you know? So I'm just like, I focus more on having a childlike wonder about it versus feeling bad about it. And I don't know if you're feeling bad. I'm just sharing with you how I process.
I'm not quite feeling bad yet. I'm feeling frustrated. Like I'm looking to pick up the strings, but I don't know where they are.
Okay.
So maybe the self beat up will come like later. I don't know, but
or maybe not at all. Doesn't need to.
Right. I'm aware that I don't want it to go that way. But this is kind of like not like me.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not usually my experience of you. So there might be something that's coming up for you inside. And whenever I'm in that space, then I reconnect with my vision, and or I reach out for coaching to help me like reconnect with myself and my vision first and foremost. Okay. So I see that Susan popped in the chat. So she said to book a call with her. She's like, I thrive on clarity, which is so true. Like,
okay.
Great. I mean, I turn to Susan when I'm like, I'm all up in my head right now, or I'm just not feeling on top of my A game right now, or I'm just feeling off my usual core of myself. So book a call with Susan, and
I will do that. Yeah. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. Anyone else have a question or something I can help you with before we wrap up for the day? Okay, I see people are popping off. Okay. Anyone? We can wrap it up for the day. I mean, we're at the top of the hour, so I'm seeing a lot of love in the chat. So if you haven't been checking the chat, then just know that there's so much love going back and forth in here. And just remember that you're in this community, and it's all about connection and contribution and connecting in, and you got this. So Susan, did you want to add anything before we wrap up? My beautiful, beloved coach.
Oh, I just love this crew so much. And like you said, there's so much love going on in the chat. The thing that I would focus on, and I know we touch on it here and there, book calls, whatnot, be in the group. Like, be active in the group, whether it's commenting on other people's posts or posting your own posts. We are here for you. We're so for you. Yeah. So let us be. And this goes across the board. I've had this conversation individually with pretty much everyone I've spoken with, part of the homework I usually give is like, hey, great, post that in the group.
Yeah.
Because we want to be able to give feedback and support. And we know probably a lot of your ideal clients. So if we can see what you're up to and we can see what you're doing and we can see what you're working through and we can offer our own guidance in our own way, it's only going to enrich what you're up to. So let us support you in that way. And it's going to look different for each person. So don't compare what you're posting versus what someone else posts at all. Be active in the group. That's a request. And it's like, let us be there for you in that way.
Yeah. And share your wins too. We want to know when we can celebrate with you. Like, it's so great when you can just be like, yay, I did this, and not be like, and I'm by myself in my home office. You know, it's like, share your wins. We want to hear them. We want to hear about them. One thing that Lisa Sasevich, when I went to her event, said multiple times is participation is value. Like, participation is value. So just even like to speak to what Susan's saying, like just being here or watching the replay and posting, like, participation is value. You're going to get so much out of it as you participate. And you are all amazing, beautiful souls. I'm so honored to be here with you. So I look forward to seeing more posts in the group, and let us know how we can continue to support you, and also post your big picture plan if you know it. And if you're stuck, book a coaching call to get clear with it. Post it for June in the Facebook group page so that we can hold you high and accountable to your goals and your vision. Okay. All right, on that note, I'm going to wrap this one up, sending you all much love, and I'll see you in the Facebook group and on our next call. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
You're welcome.